Hey guys, before we start this episode, I wanted to talk to you about Type 1 Lifting. So Type 1 Lifting is a clothing line that proceeds of the shirts and tanks and everything else goes to the Children's Diabetes Foundation. So this all came about with me and seeing a 5-year-old girl in the emergency department that had new onset of diabetes. So just take a look at the website. It's www.type1lifting.com. So just check it out. If you don't buy anything, that's perfectly fine. I would just like for you just to take a look and just see what we have. So like I said before, www.type1lifting.com. And guys, I hope you enjoy the show. Hey guys, before you start this episode, I had a little technical difficulty with the recording. It was just for a couple seconds, but at the 9 minutes and 14-second mark, it cut off, but it came back on. And so he's actually talking about the trail run at the Norway CrossFit Championships. I really, really did enjoy this podcast. It was a lot of fun learning about, being a CrossFit athlete, his experience as a CrossFitter, and, I hope you guys enjoy this too. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. I have an awesome guest. He is a 2020 CrossFit Games athlete, Griffin Roelle. How's it going?
Pretty good. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so we connected with your uncle because he was asking me, if I was from Georgia, where I'm from Georgia, where pretty much where I live, because he said that you were training doing the CrossFit Games. So he took a picture of you, and I couldn't believe that, he's related to a CrossFit Games athlete, which I thought was pretty cool. And you live right down the street in Marietta.
Right. Yeah. Well, don't cut him short. That dude's pretty fit.
Yeah.
He got me into CrossFit. So he was like the year before I started. He was like 32nd or something. I don't remember.
Yeah. I was talking to him because I'm a fellow Type 1 diabetic too, and so that's how we connected. And so I was really grateful to him for connecting with us, with the podcast.
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, dude, I'm impressed with anybody that's able to do fitness at the level that even like just normal everyday goers. I mean, especially like with him, like having Type 1 diabetes and being able to do all that stuff and just being as strong or as fit as y'all. Dude, it's crazy. Y'all work a lot harder than most people do.
Yeah, and we're stressed out as more than anybody else too. So
right, right.
So what's your experience with diabetes? Obviously, you have your uncle with being a diabetic, but like, how do you how did you learn about it and everything?
I mean, honestly, just like school, and then I had no idea he had diabetes until I don't know. It was probably like 14, 12. I don't remember. I remember seeing him and having to take an insulin shot, and I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I realized he was a diabetic. Other than that, like, I honestly don't know that many people that are Type 1, which is, a good thing, I guess. But that's the main thing when I see him. But he's always, dude. There was this quick story with him.
Yeah, go for it.
I still didn't even like let it hit me one day while I was working out with him in 2015. That was the first time I saw CrossFit. He took me out of the games, didn't know anything about it. So I flew out to see him in Sacramento, and we went down to Carson, and we went for a run for like 6 miles, right? And at the end of it, I'm all hyped up watching the games. I'm like, I'm about to take off, run as hard as I can the last like half a mile. I get done, and I was like, oh shit, because we ran for 6 miles. He hadn't eaten anything, and it didn't even click to me that I was like, I gotta make sure he's not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good lesson learned right there.
Yeah.
He was fine.
Yeah, usually with me with runs, like after like long distances, I'll just like crash immediately. So it's like I have to run around my neighborhood. I can't go like any venture any place else, or they have like something stored. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
good story.
So with CrossFit, you started with your uncle. So did you start at Sacramento, or did you start in Georgia?
So I started in Georgia. I went to a CrossFit gym. I went to Iron Mile up in Northern California in Sacramento.
Okay.
And then was 2 other ones he took me to. He also took me like to Delta weightlifting. I've weightlifted my entire life. I've done Olympic lifting my entire life. But he just took me around and kind of showed me the ropes. And I had never done anything with CrossFit. But when I was out there, I did a couple workouts. And, I mean, it didn't hook me there. It hooked me when I saw the tennis stadium. And I was like, man, this sucks. I got to do this.
Yeah.
So when I went, so I was in the middle of football, like getting ready for, I'd done all my All-Star games, Pro Day, all that good stuff, kind of waiting to hear if I was going to go to a team. And I was waiting to hear specifically I was going to go to the Jags. And so like I was trying to balance that. And then I also got a phone call from a head coach that I played for once in college. And I got an offer, actually I had 2, to go to 2 different schools to go coach. And I was literally in the stadium. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this instead. I don't want to coach. I don't want to deal with football anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to do that and turned around. But then I came out back home, and like October-ish of 2015, I like started looking for gyms. And the gym I'm at right now, I should have gone to because it's the closest one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the one I started at. I started somewhere else. But I started towards the end of 2015, basically 2016. Did the Open 2 months later. Had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
So
how did you do in the Open the first year you did it?
Oh, who knows? I got my ass kicked, dude. I had no ego. I literally was just like, I mean, I walked in day one. I was like, what do I got to do? I'm going to the games.
Yeah.
Like, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
And every coach was like, that's not how that works. And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna tell you, I'm gonna find a way to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I remember that first. There's a bar muscle up burpee workout, or bar muscle up and snatch workout. That's what it was. Bar muscle ups and like power snatches.
Mm-hmm.
And I flew off the bar.
Yep.
On my back.
Yep.
Flat on my back. I had no idea. My grip blew up. It was great.
Yeah.
Time.
That usually happens with a lot of people, so it's all good. So
yeah.
So when did you start realizing you were getting like really good at CrossFit?
Nah, I don't think I'm still good yet, unless I'm beating Matt.
Well, yeah. I mean, you placed 25th, right, out of the whole games this year. That's pretty impressive. So,
I mean, it's not bad. There's a lot of improvement to be made. But I mean, there's still something to be proud of, but there's still a lot more work to go.
Yeah.
But honestly, there was a real change of like fitness level for me mentally. I would say, honestly, within the past year, like right before, I can't remember which qualifier it was. There's a qualifier I did last year, and I beat like Jacob Hepner and Fikowski and all these big names, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, where did that come from, right? And I think, honestly, it started with that Dubai competition, because that was the first individual comp I'd ever done.
Mm-hmm.
I've only ever done some like team or whatever. I've never done an individual one. So that was in 2018. And then I started doing these other competitions and winning the online qualifiers. And granted, like those guys, I hadn't learned, like most of them are just doing it in the middle of their training. It wasn't like they know they're going to qualify. Now I understand like where that's at,
mm-hmm.
like what level that is. But then when I hit the Rogue Invitational, I was sitting at like second, and that was a whole ordeal. But that like moment, I was like, oh, I can definitely do this. And then went out with that attitude to Norway and won it. And then I was like, all right, well, you can definitely hang with these guys.
Yeah.
You know, let's put this in motion and start finishing some stuff up. So,
nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at now. Now I have like that mentality of knowing what that fitness level is. The only way to do it is to feel it. Like the difference of 5 seconds in one workout, and especially in these games workouts, is a massive amount of work to get.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I understand the level. I don't understand Matt's level because he's just fitter than everybody. It's just not even close.
It's insane. But so with Dubai and the Rogue individual and also Norway, which one did you like the most? Well, obviously you might like Norway the most, but which arena did you like the most out of all those competitions?
Man, Dubai's arena was the coolest.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to run in the desert again, but the best way I can literally make people imagine this is when you watch the movie Aladdin, and that opening scene of the desert. That's what it freaking looked like. We
Yeah.
literally took out there and ran up and down those hills, and dude, it was. People might have been like, "Oh, that was fun." No, not fun.
Yeah.
Not fun at all, especially without with weight vest. But the arena, like the tennis stadium, the fact that they had, like we were in there's a hotel that's connected to the tennis stadium,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like its own little village, and you just walk out of your room, go down, we'll go to the little go on the tennis court, warm up, and you go into the stadium, and there was a bunch of people there. It was a lot of fun. I'd like to go back again. I was sad that they canceled it this year, but
Yeah.
they're supposed to be bringing it back next year, so hopefully I'll be there next year to go do that one.
Very cool.
If I can make it happen.
Yeah. So you punched your ticket in Norway. With that, how was that whole experience when you won that?
4K, 5K through the mountains, up a ski slope. All the heavy guys did poor at it, even the good runners, because you were so heavy you would sink in the snow. Especially like you were legitimately running up a ski slope, like where you would take it takes you up. No, you're running up it, and then you go down, and like dude, I was just sinking like halfway to my knees and couldn't pick my feet up. And I had run so much for that competition, now because all the sanctionals were doing big runs.
Yeah.
At the beginning. Run so much. I was like, I'm gonna smoke whatever run they throw at us. I'm so ready. Nope. And I took blast, and I was like, all right. Went to my room, was pissed off, but not in a bad way. Like pissed off, like, all right, well, you got nothing to lose. Go out and win the next workout. Go out and just smash people. And the event organizer after the second event. So the second event was like 40 ring muscle ups for time, and you only can do sets of 5, and you had to go move a pylon or whatever back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And like all these guys had a joke, and I didn't know this till the end of the day. They had this joke about me because they were like laughing. They're like, I bet this cat can't even do a ring muscle up, blah, blah, blah. Like they were just cracking jokes. They told me about this later, and I ended up taking like second or third on that workout.
Nice.
And I got up there and started flying through it, and these guys were like, holy shit. What? And then, from that, like, I just set the tone from that workout. I was like, I'm not here to screw around. That was the first workout I learned how to. There was a couple guys next to me, and I was in the the final heat, and that was the first time I actually played games with someone next to me.
Nice.
How to, like, pace-wise, how fast do you move? Do you push them now? Do you push them later? And I was able to get 2 of the guys that ended up being really close at the end for podium spots to try to push with me too early, and they blew up and were able to finish it. So, like, that was a huge change in, like, mentality that weekend for me. Because in the next workout, I went and won, and it was, like, burpees and snatches, power snatches, increasing weight. And then, you know, like, from then on, I was like, dude, you got this. You got one bad workout already today. You're probably going to have one damage control workout all weekend, and you've got a couple that you might go win. Go just smash this. And I was just locked in. So, I mean, it was a really giant roller coaster of learning, like, how to win in a sanctioned event against a bunch of really, really good guys, and how to, like, just turn it on and just go. Just go, and not even think that you're not going to win at that point. But it's still, once you cross the finish line, in the middle of that final workout, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. I was in the middle of bar muscle ups. I was like, dude, you're going to win. Don't screw up. Just keep going. I mean, it was crazy. So, yeah, it was a fun time. The only downside was none of my, like, I had one client, one of my personal trainer clients, go out with me, but I didn't have, like, my whole family. So, like, she was the one there, and it was cool. I had offered. I was like, hey, guys, anybody that wants to go to Norway with me, let's go. And she was like, I'm in. I'd love to go. So that was cool. But it would have been nice to have, you know, it been the U.S. and have family, friends, training teammates all in there. But other than that, I mean, it was pretty fun. That's
cool. Very cool. So, you know, obviously with a tight-knit, do you have a tight-knit family pretty much?
Yeah. I mean, my family specifically, and then I also have, like, non-blood family. Like, they're just their family. Yeah. But especially a lot of my training partners, and that's just the way it kind of goes. Okay. But cool. I mean, right now they're, you know, they haven't been training with me because one of them had a kid. She's gonna have another one. The other one's a nurse, so she took her shot, made it to the games with us on a team in 2018. The other one has a big boy job, so he's taken away. So it's really just me now. But I mean, they're I would still rather have them. They were there for the games the whole weekend and basically made my life way super, super easy.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, it's awesome to have a crowd around you when you're actually working out, so you get like a little more like momentum and, you know, adrenaline pumping. So
for sure.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
So when the all COVID happened and they cut everyone down to like the top 30 men and top 30 women, like what was your thought on that like whole, you know, remote CrossFit Games deal?
Yeah, well, I've toss up of things there. One is like, yeah, I'm glad we're doing it. I'm glad we're at least going to have something. But unfortunately, like, nobody was behind the scenes. No, we had 50 calls with HQ between just the athletes, not the athletes. It was such a true, actual roller coaster of the games are on, the games aren't on. You had all these people saying we're out, we're not out. It was nuts, and I felt bad for the guys that got cut. That shouldn't have been cut because 30 people, like the fittest 30 people in the world, you change one workout in one competition, and other than Matt Fraser, you have somebody probably else in there.
Yeah.
And there's a few guys that missed the cut because they kept cutting down. That, man, these dudes should be there, especially when you move into an online qualifier. It's totally different than in person.
Yeah.
It's 100% different. So, you know, I felt for those guys that didn't get to go, especially because some of those guys have been their first time and they earned it. But I did like that, you know, it became more, you made it. Like, you still made the cut. You proved yourself to go out there and win and make it happen. But then when I knew it was online, here we go, another online qualifier just like the Open. Yeah, the workout's going to be heavier, but it's different. And I tend to not always do well in online qualifiers like the Open. I'm trying to fix that. But
yeah.
It's just not my forte. I'm much better in person, head-to-head, going against guys, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was definitely a ride because when they made that announcement, they just kept cutting it down, and you could tell on these Zoom calls, like, the plans they had weren't going to happen. Even though they wanted them to happen, it wasn't. So there was, there was a time where, like, it was definitely going to happen in Romus, but then it was going to happen in another place that we didn't know about yet, that they told us that they're like, we secured everything, we've got it written out, like, it's going to happen here. And then, like, we didn't hear anything back by the time we were supposed to, and then it was like, no, we're going to do it online. We're like, oh, okay, so we're just moving, like, you know, Madison now to Romus, now to this other place we don't know about, now we're going online. And then the other thing is you didn't know who was going to compete because previously, before Eric decided to take over CrossFit and bought it out, which I'm so glad he did, a lot of us were not going to compete. The stuff Glassman said on Twitter was stupid. Like, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah.
But he was just being an idiot. That didn't make me not want to compete. But then the next part where it was like sexual harassment and racism, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, now the line's a little, you drew the line there. You screwed that up. And a lot of us athletes, like, even though we weren't on social media, being social media warriors, we were having these meetings. We're like, we're out. We want to compete with the best, but we don't want to support that. So a lot of people don't actually know that. There's a lot of us, we didn't have to say anything because HQ is like, it's getting sold, just hold on. So you had some guys out obviously saying, hey, we're not going to compete, we're not going to do this. And a lot of us were there too. I work on doing social media, but I hate it. I like that it helps. I like that at least can help people, but personally, dude, like, I don't care about it. I don't care how many people follow me and like me. I hope you do, but if you don't, it is what it is. I'm just out here real. I'm not trying to be fake. So, right. So, yeah, it was, dude, it was so up and down constantly. And, we really didn't know if we were going to have the games until they were like, online, here we go.
Yeah.
So once they did that, change your training, change it completely. Because I'm training for literally everything you'd see in a Romus. For all the workouts that they just released, I was preparing for it.
Yeah.
Not the online ones, which, again, you want to be the fittest, you got to be the best at everything. But, I mean, it was a lesson and a hard curveball call to take.
Yeah. So, well, you actually did win one event, the front squat, the 1 rep max front squat. So, what was your game plan on that?
Let's have a party. I knew when he's like, so they gave us that equipment list pretty early, and I was like, "There's no way you're going to go through this first thing without a max.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way." And then he released those 3 or 4 workouts or whatever, and it was just like, Fran and Diane and whatever. And I was like, I know for a fact there's another workout in there. I know it'll be a max because it said we had to have a squat rack in the equipment list. So I was like, okay, what makes sense? It wouldn't make sense to go from Diane,
mm-hmm.
but it would make sense to go from Fran. I was hoping for a 1 rep max thruster. That'd have been fun.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't think it's doing a back squat. It doesn't make sense to do that from doing thrusters. Max front squat seems possible. If he really wanted to be mean, he would have made it like a 5 rep max front squat or like a 3 rep max.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was not okay after Fran.
Yeah.
I was not okay. I mean, again, you have no idea how well you did in the world. And the top, other than Matt, for us, the top 9 were a difference of 8 seconds. Like, we were, God, that hurt. I was down for a while. It took me about an hour and 15 minutes for my head to not hurt anymore.
Yeah.
So I went out to the front squat. I mean, I was like, dude, I haven't front squatted heavy or back squatted heavy since I started CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
One, because it's not like an ego thing, like, oh, I'm stronger than everybody. It's because, like, I have so many other things I can work on. I'm not going to really put my time into that. I put all that time growing up non-stop dying lifting, so I was really strong. So I played football. I back squatted 600 pounds for 12. That was my best I'd ever done. Yeah, right. I know. Like, I used to be really strong.
Yeah.
So, like, the last time I had front squatted heavy in my life was when I was 17. I was 182 pounds and front squatted 450.
God damn, man. Jeez.
In high school.
Yeah.
So then, like, I back squatted 600 pounds in high school. So that's why I was like, okay, don't be a bitch. You definitely can front squat more than that. Like, I front squat 405 all the time, or I clean 405. So, like, I still squat often, but I never put on a max weight ever.
Yeah.
And I went into it, and I was like, dude, 135 felt terrible after that workout. This is going to be great. Yeah, so most of the guys warmed up and then just started the clock, and, like, we're done in 8 minutes. I made it a whole thing. I had a ton of people watching, so I made it a whole 20-minute thing. And,
oh, my gosh.
yeah, I mean, I did it like a normal lifting session. I'm going to front squat for 20 minutes. I'm going to lift. I'm going to do my sets. I'm going to rest about 4 to 5 minutes when I start getting heavy. Like, I went, like, I don't know, 225 to 315 to 405 to 450, and then, like, 470, 480, and then 490. Like, they were just massive jumps, right?
Yeah.
But again, I had no idea what number I was going to do. I also knew Tyler Christoffel would probably be the second place guy. I knew his front squat around 460, which I think he got 457 roughly.
Mm-hmm.
So my first actual set was above that, and I was like, whatever, let's just keep going. Who knows? Someone can sneak in there.
Yeah.
And I did 480, and it just came up like that. It was super easy. And I was like, all right, I'm done, whatever. And I saw like 4 minutes on the clock, and Corinne, one of my old teammates, the gym owner actually that I work out at and coach, she's like, you want my opinion? I was like, sure. She's like, go put more weight on. Make people go, what the fuck? All right. So they put on 490, and then I did it, and I was like, all right, cool. So I mean, I knew I was going to win the event. I had no idea what I was going to front squat.
Yeah.
Not doing it after Fran, I'm sure I can do well over 500 pounds. But I mean, maybe the next goal is do that 5-minute mile and a 500-pound front squat instead of a back squat.
Yeah, that was impressive. I saw the YouTube video on that, and that was really impressive what he did.
Adam Klink is a monster.
Yeah. But so, do you think lifting like that crazy amount of weight for the front squat kind of hindered you a little bit, like later on during the games?
I mean, yeah, but not majorly, but it did. It just changed it just naturally because you're Like, again, I don't front squat heavy.
Yeah.
You just blew out your CNS.
Mm-hmm.
Like you did. There's no way around it. Maybe if I had stopped at like 460, 470, where it wasn't really a challenge at all, I'd have been fine. But again, it was kind of like, well, let's go make a statement. Knowing the workouts, I knew I wasn't going to finish in the top 5. I can tell myself and believe and give everything I have, which I did. But you know the workouts, you know your weaknesses, you know how good the rest of the 30 fittest people are in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, let's just go smash a workout. I mean, who knows? Maybe you do make it in the top 5, but like, let's go smash it. So your CNS is a little blown. So like in the next, if I ever have a max like that again, and like the games or whatever, I'm just going to do what I need to do to win.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to blow people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, and it may happen. There's a lot of really strong dudes, but
yeah.
If I know I have an event win, I won't do that. But like for the next day when you woke up and did Nancy, I mean, you had to do the deadlifts right after that, the deadlift workout and the 1K row. Like,
yeah.
That 1K row, that is the first time I've ever done a 1K row and not gone to the floor after, because I wasn't out of breath. I wasn't like destroyed. I just couldn't pull hard. It was the weirdest feeling. I was like, man, it hurt, don't get me wrong, but like, normally when you do a 1K row, like, you're on the floor, rolling around, take your shoes off, you're like, don't touch me, I'm dying. And there was none of that. I couldn't pull on that rower any harder. I couldn't drive out with my legs any harder. So I think it made a little bit of a difference there. But we also did that Fran workout that was destruction. So.
Yeah. So what were you pulling? Yeah. Like, how many strokes per minute were you pulling on the 1K row?
Like 28, 30, I think, and then till the end. So like I started out and I was rowing 125. So like my goal was I'm going to start out, I'm just going to row hard for the first 200-300 meters, get it going, and then back off and cruise right around like a 132. Okay, so obviously 132 is going to give me a 304 if that's what I was aiming, but obviously I gave myself a little bit of cushion with the faster row at the beginning, backed off, and then like when I was going to get to about 650, 700 meters, I was going to start kicking it back in. And I did, but I couldn't get it to go back down.
Yeah.
I just couldn't pull. I couldn't pull harder. So I think, like, in hindsight, what I would have done differently is start out fast and then hold on to that sucker.
Yeah.
Because, like, it was weird. I could just hold that pace at 132, but I could, no matter what, but I could not get it to go down. So if I probably held it a little bit longer, I'd have probably ended up throwing around, like, a 258, which, like, would have been, I don't even know, 10th, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, these dudes were pulling on that thing. So, especially with Roman. Dude, what do you row, 248?
Dude, he's another crazy cross lifter, like CrossFitter. Like, if he goes to the games, like, he would definitely put on a show, I think. So.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I've seen, when he was there in Dubai, and that was the first time I got to compete with him. He's impressive, for sure. Like, and he's not like most CrossFitters, you know, like they look big, but then you see them, they're not that big, right? This dude is pretty damn big. I'm not surprised he rode that. I knew like he would win that row, but I did not realize he was going to go 248. That is absurd.
He's insane.
Especially after all that stuff. Like that's just crazy, man.
Yeah. So going back a little bit. So obviously you talked about like how like your mindset kind of changed and stuff like that. So how do you keep on like pushing through a workout when like you're like really suffering and you just like you feel like you can't go anymore? Like what is your mindset towards that? Like when you just say like, all right, just keep on going. Like let's suffer. Like just just see what happens.
It depends what type of workout it is. So if it's like a really long endurance workout, I go blank. I literally there's like no thoughts in my mind. It's just, you become a robot. You just keep moving. If it's a short workout, I literally like just get angry. So it's just something that's able to like push me to go harder. So a lot of like, there's a lot of stuff I have built up inside that from people that have done me wrong or whatever. And I've never taken it out on people because that's not what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
but it helps me to get angry and process, and I use it right then and there. And then it's like, oh no, like I'm gonna smash the rest of this workout.
Okay.
I mean, granted, there are times where I can't do that. I'm just that destroyed, and it happens. But that is one of the things that you have to be able to do if you want to be at that level. Because the moment that little thought comes in here, you lost.
Yep. Especially
against Matt. That dude might be hurting, but you'll never know.
Yeah.
He is so mentally strong.
It's crazy because, like, I've watched videos of him, like, doing work, and he obviously, like, looks at the clock and just, like, kind of pinpoints, okay, I'm going to 2-second break here, 2-second break here, 5 seconds here. It's like, insane of, like, what his brain's thinking while he's, like, pushing so hard. And he can still think like that. It's insane.
Oh, yeah. He's so fit that he's able to toy with the workout the way he wants.
Yeah.
He's going to do whatever he wants just to stay ahead of you. That's why, like, this online qualifier, you saw him destroy everyone. It wasn't even close. Because he didn't know where other people were, so he had to go as hard as he could.
Yeah.
And that's why you saw that Fran time. And it's just stupid. It's just stupid. It's definitely obviously possible. Like, even when I thought about that workout, I was like, I mean, technically you could do 21 thrusters and you could do 21 chest to bar in a minute, but it's also at 115, not 95. If it's not 95, it definitely people will be closer to 3 minutes. At 115, it's like, who is just not going to fall apart?
Yeah.
You take that shot. And originally, before I was like, I'm going to take the shot and go unbroken all the way. And I'm really good at thrusters. I'm glad I decided not to. And I went 15 and 6 on the thrusters, but I went unbroken on the chest to bar. Like,
yeah.
I'd like to do that workout again. I don't want that pain again, but I'd like to see how close I can get to that that time. That capacity is just incredible.
Yeah.
But you got it. That's one of those you got to be relaxed and focused up until the last round, and then you just got to get pissed.
So do you listen to sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying. I mean, I don't know if you saw some of the videos, but dudes were failing chest to bar.
Yeah.
They couldn't stay on the bar because you were just pushing yourself that hard. So yeah, you had to get angry at that one.
Yeah. So what music were you listening to during the games?
Ooh, that's honestly a really good question. I don't know. I don't even hear it. I never, like, even playing football, I didn't even hear the crowd. Everything was silent. So like working out, it was silent. My guess, I'm pretty sure he probably had they probably put like Rick Ross on or something. Honestly, but I don't remember what was on. Something along those lines. Like, people will hate me for it, but I'll listen to country music when I'm working out. Like, I won't train intensely at that. If it's like a day I'm going to come in, I'm getting work done, but I'm not trying to die. I'll listen to country music. But like, when it's time to go, I don't listen to, I do listen to rock and metal and stuff like that, but not to train to, because that messes my heart rate up way too much. Like, I need something that has more of a beat and then keep me steady. And if I do get tired and if I do hear lyrics, maybe that'll keep me focused on that. So I'm not seeing the pain, but it's probably something like Drake, Rick Ross, something like that.
Okay, very cool. So, what program are you doing right now? Or are you just doing your own stuff?
Me, myself, and I.
Okay.
Yeah. I got lucky growing up. My dad was a strength and conditioning coach.
Okay.
So I know how to program all of that good stuff. It was really learning how to rotate that into CrossFit and kind of understand it. So I will say the most I've actually learned just by something I did used to follow was What's Rich Doing. Nobody should be honestly like doing that other than if you're rich or the guys at Mayhem or like top 20 at the games. And even if you are top 20 in the games, like, it's a very specific, if that doesn't work for everybody, there's not the stuff Rich does is quite high volume, right? So I learned a lot of stuff on how he wrote and why he wrote it a certain way, and kind of picked that up. And then I messaged Hefner actually before the games, probably about 2 months out. I was like, hey man, like I just want to like, I'm not trying to see like what you're doing. I just want to compete and use like he's way better at me at like what he's good at, like light years. He's the best at what he does, and he writes a lot of workouts like that. So I asked him if I could hop on and do some of that. So I did. I intertwined that with what I was doing. But for the past since I went individual 2 years, I've been writing my own stuff. I know what I got to do.
Yeah.
And I do all the stuff I don't like that I'm not good at.
Well, that's good because a lot of people don't do that though. They like if they program by themselves, they'll just like, oh, I really suck at handstand push-ups. I'll probably just do that later on or next week or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, people message me and be like, they think literally I lift all the time. Like, Fukowski said something to me like 2 weeks ago, or whenever it was. It might have been a month ago or something. And it was just like one of those like, yeah, I could lift that too if I lifted all the time or something. And I was just like, y'all, everybody thinks I lift, and like I don't. Like I do a lot of accessory work and a lot of things that don't either like load my spine. I have a huge issue from my hamstring from football.
Mm-hmm.
I blew it out, and I'm still having to deal with issues from it to this day, and that was 8 years ago. So like I do a lot of different things than most people. Like they have a strength program, and then they have conditioning, or they have like a monostructural in the morning, then strength, then their Metcon. I throw lifting in my Metcons, and I can make them heavy.
Yeah.
So I'm never out here doing 3x5 or like sets of 8 or 3 or whatever. They're all in my Metcons. So that's the only time I get to do the stuff I like, but I do it while I'm breathing really heavy. Mm-hmm. So it's not fun.
Yeah. So do you have you had like other CrossFit athletes like train with you at the same time, like just together, or like have you gone up the street to like CrossFit Passion or seen any of those guys?
So I used to have that team, right? So they used to train with me, and then now they're all retired, so they don't really work out with me. I did get them to come and work out with me for the games, to get ready for the games for like a month, and they just modified to keep a pace so it would push me still.
Yeah.
But I've only had, since I've been individual, one training partner, which I don't have. He was there for a little bit, then would leave, go somewhere else, then come back for a little bit, and then disappear. So I don't have anybody now. I'm actually posting something today about like, anybody that wants to be a sanctional or a games or regional athlete or whatever. If they live anywhere near me and want to come train, by all means, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had people that were a lot better than me at certain things, because I don't want to be the best one in the room. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get better, right? Like, you have to get beat and chase and learn what that next level is. And that's what I'm trying to get. So, like, I've messaged some of the other guys that I'm friends with that are games athletes, but they just don't live anywhere near here.
Yeah. And
until I can make an income where I don't have to be here and coach and go to train with them, I won't be able to really do that. And CrossFit Passion, like, I won't really get into that. Travis is great. He's awesome. Mm-hmm. But the training think tank side isn't very fond of me, or that's just my perception. And that kind of grew from the fact that when we were at the games, or when we went to the games that regional year, they had a team, and we ended up, I don't know if you ever saw the video, but there's a video. We were in first or second all weekend, and then we dropped, and then going to the final event, we were in sixth by 2 points, and like from second to sixth, it was a difference of like 8 points, and we somehow came back on the worm, lunging it back down and passed everybody, and ended up getting into the games, and they didn't. And then previously, before that, we had 2 athletes on our team that were team athletes, and they said they wanted to go individual, which I was like, we were all like, great, we support you, whatever. Mm-hmm. They went over to Training Think Tank, still supported them. They ended up being on the team.
Oh.
So we were like, what? Okay. So, whatever. That's just like football, right? People transferring, go play other places.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, I haven't ever been invited there, nor that like I guess I should get an invite, but I have this sense or feeling that they just don't really want me there, which is fine.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean everybody. That doesn't mean a lot of I'm friends like Cedric Lapon is a training think tank athlete, super awesome guy. He's from Canada. He's awesome. I met him in the Netherlands. Like there's a bunch of guys that I do like, but I guess like Noah will travel up there.
Yep.
And we've talked before. And I'd be happy if he ever was like, hey, like he had to get ready for Aromas. If he was like, hey, would you mind coming training? I know like you're done with your season right now, but like, dude, absolutely, love to help. But I feel like they go around me to find other people to work out with or something like that. So it's also their own little world. You know, they all have their individual coach and work out there. And then what I do is I write my own programming. I have a lot. I mean, not that they don't have fun, but I don't have anybody staring down your neck saying, hey, you're doing this wrong or doing this or whatever. So I just think it might be a mix. They don't want me there. Maybe if I'm not paying for a coach or something like that. But whatever. It is what it is. So right now, that's where most of the athletes are. So I'm trying to find anybody else that wants to come work out with me.
Yeah.
And get better. So, I mean, who knows? That could change. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's no hard feelings at any point of that. And I don't really do. It is what it is. But
yeah. I mean, everyone has to run their own business, so pretty much. So
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and they do. Hey, they run a great business. They got a lot of great athletes. So, I just know what I need to do, and I write myself what I need to do, and I got to the games that way. So I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Now I maybe can do something better. I actually thought about reaching out to a couple of coaches, possibly, but I haven't. Most of the coaches that I would be comfortable with what they know already have a lot of athletes that are games athletes, and they are probably really busy. But it's still something I'm trying to decide on asking, see if anybody wants to take a crack at making me even better. So
I hear you. Yeah. So when you have gone to those, CrossFit events, have you ever been like completely like fanboyed for like any of the CrossFit Games athletes at all? Like seeing Matt for the first time or anything like that?
Nah, they're just another dude.
Yeah.
Just like I played football for 18 years of my life, and we would always play against somebody. Like, honestly, I think the best football player I ever played against was Janoris Jenkins. He used to be a corner for Florida. He's been playing in the NFL. Dude is unbelievable. But I went out and had a one-handed catch on him right before halftime. It was a 45-yard bomb in the back of the end zone. Like, it wasn't like, oh, this dude, it's Janoris. Like, no, it was like, hey, you get to go compete against someone that's really good. Let's go step up. So, the first time I really saw anybody was in Dubai.
Yeah.
And I've tried to really change my personality from football, where I'm like, fuck everybody. I'm here to destroy you. And in CrossFit, I've changed that to like, be friendly, be nice. Like, I'm not here to be mean, but like, you're there to be focused. And I think in Dubai, like I met a few people that I was like, wow, these dudes are actually really nice. They're not here because, I don't think you'd be surprised. There are a lot of athletes that are not nice. They're not going to, like, if you had came up to me in the middle, like in between workouts, I'm definitely going to talk. Like, even though I don't ever know you or anything, I'm definitely going to talk to you. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
There are athletes that are going to be pretty rude to you. And I learned both of those. One of the nice guys that I met, who's in the top 5 this year, is Jeff Adler. I met him in Dubai. Super nice kid, super fit. And I hung out with him a lot during that weekend. Frederick Agadis, Annie's husband, was super nice to me. Dane Smith. I was sad that Ben Smith wasn't there. He was really nice. So, like, I got to meet some of these guys. They were super. They were super good guys, and I never really fanboyed, but I definitely was like, oh, okay, Matt's here. Let's go show this man what's up in some of these workouts. You ain't going to beat him yet. Like, this is your first event.
Yeah.
But you got to go out there like you're going to. And that dude, there was a snatch event. Again, it's my first individual event. I'm trying to figure this thing out. And I went out and I snatched it was like 302 or I don't know, whatever it was. It was definitely lower than I can snatch. And there was no clock on the floor, and I didn't know how much time there was, and they told me I had to announce in kilos, and I was like, I don't know kilos. I didn't know you have to announce before every lift. I was so like distraught. And next thing I know, they're like 40 seconds, and I wasn't near the weight I wanted to hit. I think I wanted to put on like 140 kilos or something, which was 308. I've learned my numbers now. And I just rushed. It was too big. It was not that it was too big of a jump, but it was too big of a jump in that amount of like rushing time to go snatch the bar, and I missed it. And that left the door open for Matt to PR and beat me. And then so did Willie Georges and I don't remember. It was one other guy. And I was like, I could have just won $3,000, and I blew it. And I went back and like behind after we were done. I went up to Matt and I was like, dude, I'm an idiot. This is all on me. I'm not talking shit here, but like, I can't believe I just let you do that. And I was like, I should have been fitter in the first workout, so I wasn't in the first heat. So I was in the final heat, so I knew what you were lifting. And I mean, he was nice about it. And then I was like, but I'm not gonna let you beat me in a lifting event again. That ain't gonna happen. But I hadn't seen them we haven't competed against each other since that. So it's like, I ain't gonna let them beat me in the front squat. I can tell you that. I need to get my $3,000 back.
So each event. I know each event that you win money. So was it $3,000 for a win?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah,
very
it was
cool.
$3,000. Yeah, it's nice. Never been paid to front squat before.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, so obviously you're pretty busy with training, and you have to coach at the CrossFit box. So what's a typical like training session in like a full day for you?
So Monday, Wednesday, Friday are typically the same. Tuesday, Thursday are different. Only because I got to be at the gym to do some personal training in the morning on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But right when I'm done, I do about an hour of. I wouldn't just say it's monostructural, but like. It's a lot of rowing and running and something that's not taxing weight-wise, but definitely on your lungs. And, I mean, so, for instance, like rowing. When I row anywhere from roughly 6,000 to 8,000 meters when I'm doing a rowing session. And it's different intervals and all that kind of stuff. But that's something that I'll probably wake up and do right after I train somebody. Come home, eat some food, and then I go back and work out for... That all obviously changes. I rest between my workouts. When people are like, "Hey, I had like a 3-hour training session today," I'm not working out for 3 hours. Like, there's just no way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll normally go and train. I'll probably be there for another 2.5 hours. Right, and then I would coach a class, and then I do a little bit recovery. Like I might ride the bike super easy and just flush for about 40 minutes. Or I'll stretch, do something like that. So technically, it's 3 separate times of the day that I work out. When I was getting ready for the games, right now it's just twice. Like,
yeah,
I'm not trying to kill myself. I'm trying to recover. My joints still hurt a little bit. It was a long year, but that's kind of what it normally looks like. Tuesdays are either really one long training session, or I'll like train and then go sit in the coach's office for like an hour and a half, and then I'll go back out and work out again. So that's more or less what it's like. And then Saturdays, depending upon if I can get people to come work out with me or not, I normally go right when the classes end and just go do some fun workouts, not be quite so serious.
Yeah, cool. Very cool. Yeah. So how what is it like with coaching? Like, everyone's, I don't know if like your members are like, oh my gosh, like a CrossFit athlete's coaching me, but like, what is it like with the environment at the CrossFit box you're at?
Honestly, I think they're just so used to that because they've got. So Corinne went to the games 3 or 4 times. I don't remember. Who knows? But she's been with 3 different teams. So she's a games athlete. She's the owner with Jake, who was also on our team when we went to the games. And then we used to have another teammate that used to coach at the gym. So then they had another games athlete coaching. So they're pretty used to it. But I do think in the sense of they probably want to listen a little bit more just because you have that sense of title. It's a little bit easier because, some people just don't want to – they just want to work out and don't want to hear what to be told. And that's totally fine. No problems there. Yeah. But I think with our members, they love the fact that like that is a part of the community. because nobody hears like, oh, I'm a games athlete, like you're this or that or whatever. Like, it's just I'm a regular old dude, just there to do some fitness fast. Mm-hmm. And when I coach, I know what I'm talking about, and I'm here to help. So I do like that they were super involved in the games. There was a ton of people at those events.
Yeah, it looked like in some of the pictures that you posted on your Instagram. There was a lot. That one picture where you're standing and had your arms crossed, that your whole team was like behind you, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, there were just so many members there. Even people that weren't members that were from the community to other gyms. But yeah, I mean, it's I guess honestly that dynamic is it's pretty simple. They're just like, hey, well, when's your next competition? What's going on? What does it look like? Whatever. But when I'm coaching, and I'm just Griffin. I'm not anybody else. I'm just a coach that wants to help. Mm-hmm.
So where did the CrossFit Thor thing come from? Obviously with the long hair, but where did that originate from?
So I used to coach in another gym, and it's actually, this guy is one of my one-on-one personal like remote clients, and I grew my hair out in football.
Yep.
And it was like I would do it until I grew. I was like, I'm going to grow my hair until we win a national championship, and that was like what the whole team did. And then I ended up donating my hair. And then when I decided to start CrossFit, I was like, all right, how do you market yourself? Let's be smart, not dumb. You're really strong, but nobody knows that, right? What gets someone's attention? You already grew your hair out. You looked like Thor before. Why don't you do it again? So I was like, all right, I'm going to grow my hair starting in CrossFit. And I grew it. It got long. And then this client was like, you need to change your like Instagram handle to something with Thor, like, because you look like him. Like, you should. And I was like, huh. He's like, what about CrossFit Thor? And I was like, I don't know. Let's find out if that tag wasn't taken. And it wasn't. So I put that. But see, the other part of it is that my family is German, Irish, and Nordic. So my heritage is literally Vikings.
Yeah.
So I was like, it couldn't be any better. And then, of course, like I go to Norway and win that. I was like, this is just ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, that's where it came from. It's one of my clients was like, this is what you get. This has got to be the name, and I'm obsessed with superheroes.
Yeah.
I wish I was Batman, honestly. Batman's my number one, but Thor's second.
Yeah.
And I wish it could be. I wish I had superpowers.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Well, off topic, have you seen that show The Boys yet on Amazon?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Oh my God, hilarious. Have you seen the second season yet?
No, I haven't started it yet.
Oh my gosh, it's insane. Like I just saw the last episode. I was like, the hell's going on here? Crazy stuff, but it's hilarious.
That got me when that dude ran right through the woman and she was turning this. I was like, this is great. This is really what it would be like.
Yeah. The one that got me where maybe like sucked into that show was when he actually stuffed that bomb up the dude's butt, the invisible guy's butt, and blew him up. I was like this. Oh my God, this is bananas. I gotta keep watching this.
This is I mean, that's honestly probably what it would be like. That just made it seem so much more real. It's great.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next season. It's gonna be crazy. But so anyway, I did watch a video of you when you were talking to Tommy Marquez at Norway, and you said that you might consider doing the Grid League. Are you still considering doing that at all, or are you just planning to take a break for the rest of the year?
So a lot of them have reached out to me still, and they still do. Mm-hmm. And my biggest concern I've told every single one of the coaches, the owners, all that kind of stuff. It's like, I would love to do it for fun. Like, it just seems like it'd be fun. I mean, that's what previously a lot of games athletes used to do.
Yeah.
Like Matt, he tried to do it. Noah did it. A lot of them did that, and it seemed like fun. But there's not really any money, and I'm not a person that only is about money. But I don't make really that much money, especially as a professional athlete. Like, I really don't. And it's just what it is.
Yeah.
And I can only take time off for the competitions that are necessary to try and go to make the games to go make money. Mm-hmm. And I would have to drive down to Tampa or Orlando, somewhere around there to go do those events. And as it would be fun, like the only, I think, way you make money is if you win like the whole end season or whatever competition championship it is. and then it's split between all the athletes, and I think it's only like $25,000, and you end up making, I don't know, a couple $1,000s, which is still nice, but like for the amount of times that costs to go down there, take off work, and like it wasn't going to work. And I was hoping like eventually if I could get sponsors, I'd love to do it. You know, if someone was like, hey, I'd totally pay for you to go down there and go do it. And one of the there was an owner for one of the teams was like, hey, we'll pay for your flight, we'll give you a hotel. And I was like, that is awesome. Or you can stay with one of the people. I don't need a hotel room. And I was like, that's great. The problem is still I have to take off work, and like I have to make that money. So I'm not against it by any means. I totally would do it. I wish it was back to like it was where they like had it in Madison Square Garden or whatever. You know, that looked like a lot of fun. But I really like did those online challenges because they were like $100 if you won or something, or $200. I was like, I could easily win these workouts.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah. And also like I had to raise money for Norway, so that was one way. And the other was I ran a speed and agility camp for 8 to like 11-year-olds. God help me. And it was rough.
Yeah.
But I had to do it to raise the money to go.
Yeah.
So it was like it's more or less like I'd like to do it. It'd be a lot of fun. There's some good athletes in it, but there's no way for me to monetize that at the moment that benefits going and training to make more money at the games.
Yeah.
So until like that kind of figures it out, like I won't be able to.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in Atlanta. I don't live in Tampa or Orlando. So.
Yeah. And I've heard from other CrossFit athletes and like other people that have done the Grid League that their bodies got like absolutely trashed just from like going like hard the whole time for that like little segment, and then all of a sudden they're going back to CrossFit again and doing the same thing, and there's like really no break for them to recover at all. Yeah,
it doesn't match up in the new way that CrossFit hasn't really announced quite how the new season's going to go yet, and they kind of figuring out. But the way it's going to go, like at least it looks like it's going to go, there won't be much free time.
Yeah.
So like it just, I don't know how it would work, but I mean, the season got canceled anyway. When I like was really considering going down, like I wouldn't mind going to Tampa for a weekend. Like I'll figure it out, but they got canceled. So it was just like maybe we'll wait for next year. I'll do that online qualifier, make some more money, and then maybe I can go.
Nice, very cool. So. So obviously we're talking about money. So do you do like remote coaching at all, or what's the like how many clients do you have, or are you looking to get more, or what's the deal with that? Right.
So I've never really promoted my one-on-one coaching, and honestly, why I don't know, but I did. So I do have a few, 4 right now, and I just got a couple recently, and it wasn't even like, hey, do you want to be an athlete, whatever. They actually reached out to me, the people that I've met, and I would love to do it, right? I'm 100% confident in being able to help people reach the goals that they want. I know what I'm doing, so I believe in that. But my biggest issue with that is, one, CrossFit's a community, and most people that are going to reach out are CrossFit competitors. And most gyms want you to do the class workouts. They don't want you doing your own thing, which is totally respectable. Like, it's a community. Like, you want everyone to be a part of something. You don't want to have cliques and individuals doing their own thing, right? Now, obviously, trying to be a games athlete or something like that, you have to work out more. Just what you have to. Right? Yeah. So with that, when I have people that want that, like, I didn't really want to push it, because if you're going to do it, one, your gym needs to be okay with it, and two, you need someone to work out with. I work out with myself. You will hate it. You will absolutely hate it. It's like, yeah, you can work out by yourself, but you're not going to work out by yourself pushing yourself to death half the time. Yeah. Right? Like, you can do it when you have a bunch of other people in a class. So what I've started doing is, like, when I do this one-on-one programming, I'll either use my gym's regular programming and modify everything, give it to that person, give them extra strength, give them accessory work, give them EMOMs, give them cardio, whatever, and mix it through there. but I give them a class workout or even their own gym's class workouts as long as I can get access to them.
Yeah.
So they do at least one thing with the class. So it's not necessarily an accountability thing, but it makes them feel a part of it and they can give a little bit more push to workouts. And I think that's really helped. But I mean, doing your, like, because some people will be like, hey, I want everything written directly to what I need. And I'm like, I absolutely can do that. But I will say this, you will get fitter training with other people, doing something. I will write it to exactly what your needs are and give you other work. But I can write, if I could, one Metcon can be a different rep scheme, but have the same exact stimulus, and it's not going to make a difference in what you're doing unless it's a gymnastic, right?
Yeah.
Like, so getting more people to understand, like, writing everything to your needs is more important than the necessary workout that we're giving you. So that's kind of more of what I've been doing. And then I also just finished writing up the strength program that I did to get myself strong for years and years and years. And I'll tell you, like, people think they want it. They don't want it. They don't. I mean, trust me, it'll get you stronger for sure. But I spent a lot of tears. Oh, man, a lot of tears and years of doing that stuff. And, again, like, it works for sure.
Yeah.
But most people are like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to knock this strength out in, like, 45 minutes.
Nope. No.
You want to get strong? Optimally strong? No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I can write strength programs that, you know, you can knock out 45 minutes an hour, but you just took the amount of gains we could get in 9 weeks to be now more like 3 months, maybe 4 months.
Yeah.
You know, like, so there's a balance. And also that strength program is not meant to be pushed with CrossFit. You can do conditioning, but you can't be doing Metcons and messing with that, because if you want to get stronger, you got to focus on strength and you've got to rest. You cannot work out like a CrossFitter 6 days a week.
Yep.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's just not, and people want that. I'm like, I can give you what you want, but that's not what's going to make you stronger. So I went ahead and wrote that up, and I'm getting ready to release it. I actually wrote it on Train Heroic.
Okay.
I really like their app. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at and pushing out that stuff. So that's kind of where I'm rolling out. I'm going to roll out some more, like, hey, taking one-on-one clients. If you want to do that, if this sounds like it works for you, you can, all this works with the gym that you're at, great. And then I always offer, like, hey, if any of you guys come to Atlanta, if you're close, you're not close, whatever, you want to come work out with me, like, you don't have to pay me or whatever, just come work out. So
awesome. Have you thought about ebooks or anything like that, or something like that to help you out at all?
Eventually, yeah. I just know, like, I could write them, and unfortunately, the more popular I am, the more I want to push myself out there is the way I'd make more money.
Yeah.
I could give you someone the magic program, which there's no really such thing, by the way. But I could give the magic program, and it worked way better than whatever fitness pro that everybody looks up to. But it would never sell as much as theirs, even if theirs didn't do shit. Because they're popular and they use drugs to look a certain way, and I want to look like that, so I can do that, and I'm going to use that. And I think I will eventually release stuff like that, but unfortunately that has to be with growing popularity, and then that obviously has to do with going to the games and people seeing you on, like, ESPN and CBS, like, oh yeah, that guy, he's really strong, we should listen to him. I mean, just because I'm strong, you should. Like, I have spent years and years and years studying this stuff, but it doesn't. I mean, most people don't look at people that look fit and be like, have they studied this? Do they really know what they're doing? You know?
Yeah, they just look at the body and they're like, oh, I want to get to that. Like, I was a personal trainer for years, and I always have clients be like, I want to look like that, and I'm like this. You're not gonna get like that. So just to be honest, like, you got a girl with, like, big hips and, like, big legs, and she wants to look like this girl with, like, that looks like a Q-tip or something like that. I'm like, that's not gonna happen. So, but
no,
you know,
unless you want to take drugs, go get surgery done, do the things you should be doing.
Yeah.
That's how that happened.
Yeah, exactly. So, so we're getting close to the end. So I have 4 questions for you. So, what are your goals that you're trying to hit? Like, what are the goals? Do you have any goals, like, towards the end of the year that you want to get to at all, or you're just kind of just riding it out for the rest of the year?
honestly, towards 2021, like just to get into the finish this year, I don't have anything specific. My goals have already been set at the games for 2021. Ultimately, the biggest goal is go win.
Yep.
Like everybody, if you're a games athlete, and it doesn't matter, Matt is the fittest person, but you can't tell me that you don't want to go win and you're not going to do everything you can to get there, right? And you have to expect that. You can't just be like, I wish. No, you got to train and act like you're going to go do that. So that is the goal. That's always been the goal. But then you have smaller goals, and again, it's the goal just getting to the games, get there again. Like every year, Ben Smith didn't make it. He was there for like 10 years in a row or something.
Yeah.
Like really fit people don't make it sometimes, and that's kind of what's going to happen again for everybody going through the next few years. So make sure to get there, go get a couple more event wins. But there's more like personal ones in the sense of fitness of that. The stuff that I really, 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 really worked on for the games out were going to be in Madison or in Aromas. We didn't get to test any of those for the online. I want to go and do that and fix that. So and show that I've fixed it. Like the desert run and the snow run. Yeah, I'm never going to be great at that, but I've run so much and I spent so much time running to fix that issue. That I'd really, really like to be great in the games at running. I'm not going to be a great runner to the guys that run marathons. In 4.5 minutes, that's just, I'd have to lose 100 pounds. Not going to happen. But in that standard, I really, 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 really am going to be working on getting better to the point where I can not just hang with them, but compete with them.
Awesome.
So
love it.
Those are some of the, so that's really off season. For this from the winter, that's what I'm working on. Is not like I have endurance. I can row and I can bike and I can do all that stuff all day long and do metcons for an hour. But it's running itself. That is. I used to be a good runner, man. I used to, but not when you're 205, 7 pounds, whatever I weigh. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I hear you. All right, awesome. Do you have like a favorite book you like to read, or you like to reread at all?
Not specifically. I mean, I read my Bible pretty often.
Okay.
Or podcasts or audibles that are like that. I mean, the last book that I really read was The Case for Christ, which I honestly found really cool because it was more fact based than this is what you should believe type of stuff. And I like more facts and stuff like that to learn about things. So honestly, I'm more into listening to podcasts, which basically Joe Rogan. I don't care that he sold out to Spotify. Good for him. He's making a ton of money. You should monetize what you're good at.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So I anytime I'm on a long ride, or even when I'm just driving to the gym back and forth, I'll listen to a podcast to help me learn something for the day.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. Awesome. All right. So, let's just say you have a new guy that comes into your box and says, "Listen, I want to go to the CrossFit Games." What would you tell him to what to expect? Let that whole road get into the games?
I'd say, one, are you ready to sacrifice a lot? Are you willing to do that? Because you have to. Unfortunately, sacrifice is a lot. Now, at the end of the day, some people might find it worth it. Some people don't. That's your biggest thing. Can you sacrifice it? 2, are you willing to actually work harder than anybody else? And people think they do, they can. And that's honestly a progression of learning. But you can kind of tell when someone says that or not. Are you willing to work hard enough? They're like, oh yeah, of course. You can tell when they really mean it and really know what it means or not. And 2, and then 3 is you got to remember to enjoy what you're doing when you stop enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because it happens. There's a lot of times that leading up to the games, I wasn't having fun. Nobody's having fun in COVID year, but
yeah,
whatever. But those are 3 big things for them. And there's a girl actually I'm training right now, or as a one-on-one, who came in, and it was one of my members' nieces, and she was just I wanted to have a one-on-one training session, whatever. She came in, and I said, she was pretty fit. I was like, wow, this girl could be pretty good. I was like, do you have any goals for CrossFit or whatever? Because they were kind of asking me about programming, and she was kind of hesitant towards like, I want to go to the CrossFit Games, or I want to win the CrossFit Games. She was just like, yeah, I'd like to, probably I'd like to go to the games. It's like, I mean, do you really want to go to the games? Like,
Yeah.
Or like, if you do, tell me. Like, you got to put that out in the world. If you want that, you got to say it, because if you're just kind of like, I don't know, like, because you think I'm going to tell you can't make it, you got to change that mentality, because you need to have that, like, I don't care what this guy says.
Yeah.
Like, I want him to coach me, but if he tells me I'm not going to make it, I'll find someone that's going to help me make it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to also have that, like, that heart and will, and know that, like, I firmly believe if anybody decides to put everything they have to it, everything in their mind, they can do anything they want.
Awesome.
I mean, that's something I just grown up like that.
Yeah. So I got like 30 seconds left of the recording. So where can people reach out to you if they have any questions about CrossFit or programming?
Honestly, just either message me at CrossFit Thor on Instagram, or you can email me at CrossFitThor9@gmail.com. But you can just go to my Instagram and send it to me, and it'll come up, email, message, whatever.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you very much for doing this. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right.